The politics surrounding hurricane. Now, this has been a very devastating hurricane that has hit US, but there's been enough and more politics that's taking place on both sides. To tell our viewers before I get in the guest this evening, well, the death toll, as I said, has crossed 100. Donald Trump has also said, made remarks saying that you will be okay, remarks that have actually sparked huge controversy. And even as there's been some reports suggesting that Project 2025, which Democrats have linked to the Trump campaign, says and talks at length about privatizing some of those weather outfits as well and weather agencies. Where does this take the campaign and the election with just 4 weeks to go? That's the big discussion. Ajay Paturia joins me on the broadcast, representing the big Democrat voice on the show. And we also have Matt Klink, who's a Republican strategist. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking out the time speaking to me. This is unfortunate. People have lost their lives, livelihoods have been lost, houses have been devastated, communities have been ravaged. And what I see here is a lot of politics playing over people's misery. Let me take that as and give both of you the opportunity to respond to that. Let's start with you, Ajay. How do you react and how the Democrats have reacted so far in terms of some of the messaging that has come in from the Trump campaign? Your first remarks on that.
The messaging related to the immigration?
No, I'm asking about the hurricane issue on which Donald Trump commented saying that you'll be okay, and there was a very sharp retort that came in from the Democrats.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the response of President Biden and the Vice President Harris, they have been providing all the resources which are needed to support the hurricane, and the administration is working on the clock to support that. But if you look at when Trump was in the power, he refused to provide support to California fires, and he basically restricted the support out there. But this administration, President Biden and Vice President Harris are president for all Americans, and they are doing all that can be done. Definitely, it's a very difficult situation for people who are living out there. But this is not the time to play politics on this. This is the time to support and get all the resources needed so that some of the lives of people's lives can be eased and they can get the resources they need.
Matt, come in there. What the Democrats are saying that elections will keep happening, we'll keep campaigning, but this is people's misery on which maybe political statements can be avoided.
Well, look, I mean, the last response just proves that the Democrats are injecting politics into this. I will add that in all of this, Kamala Harris didn't stop her campaigning. Joe Biden, because he's mentally addled, was on some beach in Delaware somewhere, not doing anything. And Donald Trump is going to do what a commander-in-chief should do. He's going to be on the ground in Valdosta, Georgia today, offering support and letting people know that as much as this tragedy did occur, that things are going to be okay. But this is just a classic example of, who is actually leading our country right now. And right now, it certainly is not Joe Biden. And Kamala Harris is off campaigning. So they need someone to step into that void. And Donald Trump will be in Valdosta, Georgia today to demonstrate that he does care about the people and that, things will ultimately be okay. Hurricanes do hit with regularity in that part of the world, and they want someone on the ground to support them.
Ajay, respond to that here is a presidential campaign that is taking place, and one of the candidates is well within his rights to question government's response. What he felt was inadequate, and therefore he stepped in.
Well, unfortunately, Trump is running out of real issues to talk about. So he has to come to this, to talk about in the campaign. But let me tell you, there has been hurricanes over the years every year. And there's a very established FEMA, which is the Federal Emergency Response System Organization, and which immediately jumps in, whether it was fires in Hawaii or whether it's a hurricane over here or hurricane in other parts of Florida. FEMA is the agency which immediately jumps in, and President Biden and the administration people and Vice President Harris has been in touch with the right team of people who are working on it, and they're getting daily reports, and the White House is closely monitoring it. So, and it's more welcome. I mean, if President Trump also wants to visit it, it's always good, so that leaders from both sides meet the people and get the issues, what is important, where the help is needed, and
Okay.
relate to the agencies. So it's all good. I mean, there's nothing wrong in anybody visiting over there.
Okay. Matt, respond to the fact that the Project 25 issue has been raised again by the Democrats, and they've said that it very clearly states that under that there is a provision for privatization of weather companies, essentially saying that such climate induced disasters would be harder to identify and predict and impair the response of the government.
Well, you're again, the Trump administration had nothing, or Donald Trump had nothing to do with Project 2025. That was created by the Heritage Foundation. He said all along that he doesn't support it, yet the news media and Democrats still beat that drum. So look, irrespective of what Project 2025 said, Donald Trump has demonstrated that he is going to go into any part of the country where he thinks that he can reach voters and impact them. Now, it is always unfortunate, and I agree. I do agree with what my fellow guest said, that it is well within the right of both presidential campaigns to go into any part of the country to not only talk to voters, but also to lend support. And that's what Donald Trump is going to do. So, I mean, you can beat the Project 2025 drum, but we have a saying in America, particularly in the South, that dog won't hunt. It's not related to the Trump campaign. And as much as Democrats would like it to be, it's kind of fallen flat at this point.
So fair enough. Maybe, Project 2025 is an issue that's being raised by the Democrats to probably deflect from the real issue. But then the question that is coming by and being raised by a lot of Americans is that this is a time where probably some unity could be displayed by the two candidates, because it is people's misery. 100 people have lost their lives. Do you think this is a time to probably build those bridges, and then politics could start once again once some of this issue has been addressed?
Well, Americans can walk and chew gum at the same time. And I think that, Donald Trump is all for bringing people together. He has a very strong base of support. And again, contrary to what my guest said most recently, the issue set that's being discussed right now, particularly the failed economy, the misery of Bidenomics and Biden-Harrisnomics over the last 4 years, coupled with an immigration system that is out of control, is very favorable for Donald Trump. And that's why he is performing so strongly in the 7 swing states that are ultimately going to matter for this election.
Okay, very quickly, Ajay, I'd give you a chance to respond to some of what Matt's commentary has been around the fact that, you keep flagging the Project 2025 issue simply because you're deflecting from the real issues that matter.
I will tell you that the Project 2025 proposes, which is close people associated with Trump who has been proposing 2025. It says the entire federal bureaucracy, including independent agencies such as Department of Justice, be placed under direct presidential control. And that proposes executive theory. It says that to remove several broad FBI agencies and people depending from agencies. It talks about eliminating job protection for thousands of government employees who can then be replaced by political appointees. And Trump has clearly said that he's going to put on, and so on and on, removing education department. And so this is something which is talking about, being an autocrat from day one and threat to a democracy.
Okay, so Matt is saying this is the deflection. This is the deflection what he was speaking about earlier. Okay, so I think in about 4 weeks' time, a little over 4 weeks, we will know what really the answer of the American electorate is, which side is it leading on, and which of the arguments it's actually buying. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking out the time and speaking to me